Margot Robbie's beauty is not a footnote in her career. It is the first thing Hollywood sold. One of the scripts that made her famous literally introduced her as the hottest blonde ever. So here is the uncomfortable question. If Margot Robbie had never looked like Margot Robbie, would any of this have happened? To answer it, we have to separate the doors her face opened from the doors she eventually built herself. Because by the time Barbie conquered the world, the woman once framed as decoration had quietly become the person controlling the room.
My accent used to be so strong.
Yeah, you have to put
Wait a minute, is this thing true that when you were on Neighbours, they get...
Yes, they got a dialect coach for me.
Oh, I love it.
They got a dialect coach for me because I was too Australian for Neighbours.
Because you have to have a drama school accent.
I couldn't hear that I had a bad accent. I was like, what do you mean? And they were like...
The easy version of this story begins with a perfect face arriving in Hollywood. The real version begins years earlier on Australian television. Robbie joined Neighbours in 2008 and stayed for roughly 3 years, learning the brutal rhythm of a soap opera. Long days, constant dialogue, and almost no time to overthink a scene. She has joked that her Australian accent was initially considered too strong, and she has described repeatedly calling the casting office until she finally got through. Beauty made her instantly camera-friendly. Persistence made her difficult to ignore.
Bring some friends over for brunch?
If you could spend the day with anyone in the world, who would that be?
J.K. Rowling.
And what would you do?
I would ask her 73 questions.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd probably ask her like 1,073 questions, but yeah.
What's one thing that you would love to master?
I'd really like to be good at pool.
Are you a texter or a caller?
I'm a caller.
Who was the last person that you called?
My cousin.
Then came the role that changed everything. During her audition for The Wolf of Wall Street, Robbie decided that the safest choice would also be the most forgettable. So instead of following the scene politely, she slapped Leonardo DiCaprio. That decision helped her win Naomi, a character whose beauty is not incidental. It is part of the plot, part of the power dynamic, and part of the marketing. Let us be honest, without conventional beauty, Robbie probably does not get that exact role. But beauty only explains why the camera looks at Naomi. It does not explain why Robbie controls every scene after it does.
It's me in this film. It kind of doesn't matter what I do in this film because everyone's going to be focused on Leo and everything, and I'll just kind of like slip under the radar. So things like that. But I'm not going to lie, yeah, I had a couple of shots of tequila before that scene because I was very nervous, very, very nervous.
And then you're right, I mean, the reception was huge. Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Were you prepared for that?
No, and it's also...
And there's no way to slow. If I knew what I knew in the past, I would have been like that on your...
How does this actually work?
There's a big money sign.
They get launched at the time they stick.
This is their gift, okay? They're built to be thrown like a lawn dart.
1, 2, 3!
Stop, okay?
Safety first.
Safety is safe.
Success created a new problem. Hollywood now knew exactly how to sell her. Blonde, dangerous, desirable. Harley Quinn turned that image into a global franchise, but it also threatened to become a cage. Robbie could have spent the next decade waiting for studios to offer her another version of the same woman. Instead, in 2014, she co-founded Lucky Chap Entertainment. She later explained the frustration simply. When she read scripts, the interesting role was often the man. Producing gave her a way to stop asking for better parts and start creating them.
And I'll agree is just sort of like getting women into those positions of power where they can make the decisions and even the playing field a bit. So you're doing your part clearly in that aspect. I mean, was that part of kind of the reason to do it as a, I mean, I'm sure there's a reason to like create projects for yourself, but is it also kind of like finding opportunities for friends and people that you trust or what?
Totally, and I mean, the idea of the company really came years ago.
I, Tonya was the first major proof that this was more than celebrity vanity. Robbie did not choose a glamorous victory lap. She chose a contradictory, abrasive woman at the center of an ugly American scandal. Lucky Chap helped produce the film, and Robbie carried it physically and emotionally. The result earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. This did not erase the privilege of her appearance. It proved something more useful. Once beauty got her into the building, she was willing to risk the image Hollywood had paid to preserve.
Because were you were also a producer on the movie.
Yeah.
Were you looking for things specifically to act in or just produce or both? And
I read it as a producer initially. I was looking for, well, our company was looking for female-driven content and heard this script was going around, and Stephen, the writer, wrote it on spec, so it was available. It wasn't attached to any production house.
4.8.
How do I get a fair
shot here. We also judge on presentation.
We're gonna need to even the playing field. I know a guy, shouldn't even be saying his name. Derek.
The press wanted me to be the pile of crap. I never did this.
Lucky Chap then made the argument harder to dismiss. Promising Young Woman was not built around Margot Robbie at all. Neither was the series made. The company was becoming a vehicle for female writers, directors, and characters that larger studios had routinely treated as difficult. That is the turning point in this story. A beautiful actress can be replaced by the next beautiful actress. A producer who can identify material, attract talent, protect a director, and deliver a profitable film is much harder to replace. Robbie was converting visibility into leverage.
Female filmmakers and female roles, and it didn't really make sense to be like, let's have more female roles always directed by guys. That didn't make sense. It's like sometimes you want, not necessarily always, but sometimes you need a female's voice telling that character's story. So yeah, the idea was to have as many female filmmakers, you know, working on a project with a female voice and female characters at the center of it.
Is it important?
And every week, a nice guy comes over to see if I'm okay.
You okay?
You are so pretty.
I am a nice guy.
Are you?
1, 2, 3, 4. I thought we had a connection.
Okay. How old am I? What are my hobbies? What's my name?
And then came the project that combined every part of her career. Barbie required Margot Robbie's image. She looked close enough to the cultural idea of the doll that the audience understood the casting instantly. But the film did not happen simply because she wore pink. Lucky Chap pursued the project, helped bring in Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, and fought for the creative freedom that allowed the movie to question the very image it was selling. Robbie has said she did not initially assume she would play Barbie. The producer came before the star. The finished film earned more than $1.4 billion worldwide and became the highest grossing film of 2023. Her face was an extraordinary marketing asset. Her judgment helped turn that asset into an event.
I thought it was a big and exciting opportunity. The word Barbie is just already globally recognized. And people feel really strongly about Barbie. Some people love Barbie. Some people have a lot of problems with Barbie, but everyone has an associated memory with Barbie, whether they kind of felt ambivalent or indifferent about her, they still... 6 years ago, we got the property. First we had to, it was set up at Sony, we got it out of Sony, set it up at Warner Brothers, got Mattel's blessing to let us produce, then went after Greta. And then it was like the writing process, and yeah, obviously I didn't know it was gonna have the kind of, be the cultural phenomenon that it ended up being.
When did you
I'm coming with you.
Okay. Wow, this is the real world. What's going on? Why are these men looking at me?
Yeah, they're also staring at me.
So, would Margot Robbie have made it if she were not beautiful? Probably not in the same way, and almost certainly not at the same speed. Pretending that Hollywood does not reward beauty would be dishonest. But pretending beauty explains the entire career would be just as lazy. Thousands of beautiful actors receive attention. Very few transform that attention into a production company, an Oscar-nominated performance, and the biggest film of an entire year. Beauty was the key that opened the first door. It was never the whole house. Now the uncomfortable part is yours. Is Margot Robbie's success talent, strategy, privilege, or all three?
I didn't mind. I really wanted to produce this. I really wanted to make this. It wasn't until I read the script that I was like, oh, I have to play it.
Yeah.
And she'd written it like Barbie Margot, so
Right,
she made it
okay.
pretty clear, like, no, I want you to play this role. But you've done 5 movies with Christopher Nolan now.
This
right?
is 6, actually.
6, really?
Yeah.
So you like the guy? Big fan.
It seems to work.